Good morning, Flosstube. I am Tamara. I am PD Stitcher here on YouTube and over on Instagram. This morning is Sunday, June 26th. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning here, which is why I said good morning, but it might not be morning where you are or when you're watching. It might be afternoon or evening. So hello. This is my channel about cross stitch. If you are not interested in cross stitch and you stumbled upon this, welcome. You may be in the wrong place, and if so, thanks for stopping by. If not, if cross stitch sounds like something that you might be interested in, stick around, see if you like it. I'm joined here by my buddy Buster. He is busy chewing on his little toy, but he managed to fit himself in this little space about this big between me and where I have the table with all my stuff on it. And y'all, I don't know what's going on with my hair this morning. It's a bit crazy. Today may be a short one. I don't have a lot to share. I've been busy, but it hasn't been busy cross-stitching. That's going to change, though. Hopefully very, very soon. Maybe not between now and the next Flosstube, but soon. Sorry about that. My allergies have been really bothering me for the last probably 2 weeks. So if I cough or sneeze, I apologize in advance. I'll try to pause it if I'm going to sneeze, because that's just ugly when I sneeze. Sneezing's not ugly, but the way I sneeze, it's ugly. It's loud. My kids make fun of me because I'm a loud sneezer. I apologize if you hear him chewing. He's got his little chew toy, but this is better than what he was doing when I first sat down, because this is only take 3, I think. When I first sat down, he was trying to push me over, get in my lap. He's not a lap dog. So I'll see at some point if he wants to join me on camera, but right now he's content chewing on his little chew toy. But I apologize if that noise is loud, especially for those of you who are wearing earbuds. So I have my notes here. Welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. I appreciate your friendships, your likes, your comments. There he is. He'll pop up every now and then. If you are new, welcome. I hope that you see something you like and you stick around. Love to have new friends, especially Stitchy Friends. Don't have a lot of Stitchy Friends here where I live in my little local community, but I love the Stitchy Friends I've made on Flosstube. I only have 4 whips for the last 2 weeks, which that is a lot for me. For the last few weeks I've had maybe 2, maybe 3. I had 4, but none of them got a ton of progress. Shh, being really loud today. So, let's start. The first one is it's in my Barefoot Needle Art project bag with penguins. Aren't they so cute? The back is upside down, but that's okay. Penguins and igloos. And it is one of my Whip Go goals is 3 letters on December by the Cricket Collection. Let me get out the chart. You'd think I'd never done this before. Here's what it's going to look like. I've done January through November. This is the last one I have to do, and then after I finish all of them, I will fully finish them all, because I want to do them all the same, maybe with different background fabrics, but in the same way so that I can switch them out on the same piece. So this is where it is. My goal is 3 letters. I have 2 so far. Can y'all see that without? Let me put a board behind it. I do have a board this morning. I'm somewhat organized today. I'm getting there. So I have E and M. And this is my supposed to be 100 stitches a day project. It's not gotten 100 stitches every day this week. We'll get to that in life, but getting to this has been a struggle. But I did decide, if you watched last video, I asked opinions on what I should do with the letters, because if you look, the color that I've chosen, well, the color that is called for, is barely showing up on the fabric. And the fabric is 32 count picture, this plus sterling. And you can see it, but it kind of blends in. And I like tone on tone, but for the letters, I felt like they should stand out. This is my little Charlie Brown and Snoopy needle minder. I got from Vicky Gable. Not Vicky Gable. Yes, Vicky Gable. From Stitch and Button. Y'all, it's early and I don't know what's wrong with my brain, but it is not functioning this morning. But I decided to backstitch, and I think it makes a big difference. You can see the M much better than the E, so I'm going to go back and backstitch the E. And then I think I'm going to work towards D and then finish, go across. I'm going to do C-E-D, and then go back and do B-E-R. That's the plan. But if you've been here for a while, you know how I am with plans. Those may or may not actually happen. We'll see. But that's December. The next one is Christmas 2, which is my year-long focus. This is my oldest WIP. It is charted by HAED, and the artwork is by Ciro Marchetti. And I love this piece. I'm working on this off of paper pattern, not Pattern Keeper. I do have Pattern Keeper. I'll talk about that in a little bit for another piece I'm working on. And this, because I took it off the Lowry, is now housed in this pillowcase to keep it dust-free. I didn't get a lot of work done on this, but I did do, I think, this block right here. And I'm working down this way in stair-step squares. And this is just me finishing off my threads and then parking my threads. And yeah, it's a hot mess. I need to get some of those thread holder things for park threads. If you have a good source for those, put it in the comments below. I'd love to know where you get yours. I'm always looking for advice, help. But the wreath is looking really pretty. You can see the detail in it now, and the bow is starting to look like a bow. I am doing this on 25 count easy grid 2/1 tent stitch. This is the very first full coverage that I ever started. It's also why it's my oldest WIP. And so I had, looking at other people's full coverage and seeing what they had done. Most of them had done tent stitch, so that's what I started with. I like it. I like doing 2/1 because I can use the loop method to start. However, I don't feel like I get very good coverage, or as good coverage as I would like with the tent stitch. But when I did a full cross, it was really bulky with 2. And with 1, it was really thin and, again, didn't give me very good coverage. So I feel like this looks very pixelated. But I'm a good way into this, so this is what it's going to look like. But I did make that change for future starts that I had on full coverage to not do 2/1 tent on 25. I bumped up to 28. Most of my full coverages are now on 28. I have one on 32 count, which that's small to do 1/1. All right, my next one, this was my travel project. If you were here last week, I told y'all I was getting ready to travel to, not last week, 2 weeks ago. My last video. I was getting ready to travel to Oregon with my daughter. And so I did take a piece to stitch while we were traveling. I got some stitching in the airport. I'll talk about that in a little bit. I had a lot of time to stitch in the airport. And then I had some time to stitch in the hotel. So this is Blueberry and Thyme, or Myrtle 18. This is part of the French Kitchen series. This pattern is by Summerhouse Stitchworks, and the French Kitchen series is a collaboration between Summerhouse Stitchworks and Hands On Design. And this is the first one that I've worked on, but I have all 4, so when I finish this one, I'll probably go to the next one. And I'm stitching this on 32 count Color and Cotton Dried Lavender. And this is where it is. And pardon that thread. And this is my Peppermint Patty needle minder. I have a peanuts thing going on if you haven't figured that out. I love peanuts. I got this needle minder from Fire Poppies back before they closed. And so all I have left is this bottom little border and then the blueberries. Now the blueberries are supposed to, this right here, this right here, it calls for them to all be French knots. And I tend to work my way down pieces or across pieces. And so when I got to here, we were in the hotel in Oregon, hanging out, waiting for time to go to her race. And I had done the basket, and I had done these two thyme bushes, plants, not bushes. And I made the executive decision to not go ahead and do the blueberries because I didn't want a French knot. First of all, I'm not a big French knot fan, but I didn't want a French knot and then have to pack it all up and carry it on the plane and then all get squished. So I think I'm going to save those for the very end. That's the plan. My daughter, because she has dabbled a little in cross stitch, the one that was with me in Oregon, when I told her those were all supposed to be French knots, she goes, "Oh yeah, no, those would be regular X's." But I don't think it will give the same texture and the same circular feeling of blueberries if I make them all X's. So I'm going to try. My French knots are not always pretty. But this is a really good travel piece because it fits very nicely. This is also a Barefoot Needle Art bag with suns and stars. Suns and suns. Little suns, not stars. Although the sun is a star, so technically I guess that was right. So little suns, big suns. And Buster has decided to stop chewing and just go to sleep on my knee. So that's a step. He's no longer trying to, get my attention and push me over. Oh, there he is. Buster, say hi. Can you say hi to your friends? There you go. All right, where are you going? Let's not sit on my stitch in, please. Thank you. Good boy. Yesterday I was stitching and I had put a bobbin of floss next to me on the couch, on the arm of the couch. I was sitting on a different couch. I was sitting on my wraparound. And I put it on the arm of the couch next to me, and he was sitting in the seat on the other side of that arm. And he took my bobbin and ran off with it. He doesn't eat the floss. He just likes to take it, and he likes to do anything that will take my attention off of stitching and back onto him. And I apologize because he is now throwing things onto the floor and making lots of loud noises. Can you stop? Thank you. He just decided to take his paw and push everything off onto the floor. So I have one more whip to show, and then I'm going to move everything. And then he won't push anything else. So the last one, this is also a June Whip Go Call. This is 3 Dolphins. The artwork is by Carol Cavalaris, and it is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, or HAED. And the goal for this one on my Whip Go board is a page finish. This is the page right here. So I'm almost there. And I think I figured out that if I do 300 stitches a day for the next few days, I will finish this page. It's doable if this is the only thing I work on, because I've been doing good to get 300 stitches in a day total on anything, everything combined. But this is 28 count and this is 1/1, and you see it's not nearly as pixelated. It's much better coverage. Words. I just like this better. And he's over here trying to drive me crazy this morning. He's licking his paw. I apologize if that is loud. So that's it for my whips. I'm really looking forward to getting to the Dolphins because this has been a lot of blue. A lot of blue. There was a little bit of purple in here. This is a light blue. Everything else, and this is a light blue. Everything else has been blue. I'm a little tired of stitching in blue, but yeah. We'll see if I get to the Dolphins anytime soon. It looks like I should be. right here at the edge of this bubble right here is where I've started at the bottom of the page. Can you please stop licking your paw? That's really loud. I'm going to put everything in here. I will be right back. And I'm back. That was just a moment in time for you, but it was a little bit of putting away and trying to get the dog to behave. He's had a few moments the last few days, and I'll talk about that more in life. I have a little bit of haul. This is it. This is the only haul I have is my Color and Cotton. Not Color and Cotton. My Week Style Works nest egg from 3 Owl Threads. And so here are the colors. Coal, which I absolutely love as a black. It's not as dark black as mascara, but it's a good black. Parchment. Old Glory, which this would be so pretty on the lighting. There we go, maybe. That would be pretty on a monochromatic patriotic piece. Oscar, which is a pretty olive green. Peacoat, which is a deeper blue. Not quite navy, but pretty deep blue. Okie Finoki. I'm not even sure what to call this. It looks like a dark gray, dark green, dark gray green. Onyx. Another dark color. Lots of darks in this set. Olive, which obviously is an olive green. Palomino, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous brown with some tan variegation in it. And last but not least is Peach, which is a very pretty variegated peach. And just pull that off. So that's those. That's it for haul. Literally, that's all I've gotten in the last 2 weeks, which is great because I don't have a lot of money to spend after that trip to Oregon. So let's go to life. So week and a half ago, we left for Oregon. My second youngest daughter qualified to race in the Nike Outdoor National Race in Eugene, Oregon at the Hayward Field at University of Oregon. So she was supposed to race on Thursday. She did race on Thursday of that week. We were supposed to leave on Tuesday. We got to the airport. We did leave on Tuesday, but we didn't land until Wednesday with all of the things that happened. So we got to the airport. Normally we fly out of Charlotte. I live in South Carolina in a medium-sized town that has an airport, but it only has one little tiny, I apologize, now he's whining. Buster, it's okay, come here. But it has one little tiny airline that flies out, and it only flies to Charlotte. Flies in and out from Charlotte. So normally we just drive to Charlotte. It's about a 2-hour drive. We drive to Charlotte, fly out from there. When I was looking at flights, it was actually cheaper for us to fly out of our town and fly into Charlotte and make a connection and then go to Phoenix and then go to Eugene, which would have been great if everything had worked according to plan. However, that morning we have had really bad heat wave through here for the last few weeks, and it's also very humid. So when it gets really hot, it causes thunderstorms, lightning, all that jazz. Planes can't fly in and out in the midst of that. So they closed the Charlotte airport for a couple of hours before we even left. So that delayed the flight that was coming from Charlotte to our town, to our little airport, to get us. So that got delayed, which meant we missed our connection in Charlotte to go to Phoenix. So we And we had maybe 10 minutes from literally the time the plane landed until boarding closed for our connector. My daughter's a runner, so I told her, let's hurry up, get off the plane. You run, you go, you see if you can hold it. I'll be behind you, because I was not going to be able to keep up with her. She ran, sprinted through the airport, and got there probably less than a minute after they had closed the door and said boarding was closed. So she started crying because she was completely worried and stressed that she wasn't going to be able to make it to her race. Got her calmed down, talked to the people at the desk, had talked to the people in Florence because we knew it was going to be a tight connection by the time, they told us that our flight out of Florence was going to be delayed. Getting to Charlotte, was going to make it very tight to go to our connection. So I talked to them, and they said the next connecting flight from Charlotte to Phoenix to get to Eugene that they had seats on was on Thursday. Now, this is Tuesday. Her race is on Thursday, and they said, and you'll land at 11:05 p.m. Thursday night. Not going to work because her race was at 4:10 p.m. Thursday afternoon. So I said, okay, well, told them, okay, we'll figure it out in Charlotte. So we get to Charlotte. She's the lady at the counter was super helpful, super nice. There were a lot of people who were not very kind about missing the flight. We were not the only people who missed that connection. There were several people, not just from our plane, but because the airport had been closed for a couple of hours that morning, there were a lot of flights delayed coming in, and there were a lot of people that missed their connection, and a lot of people were just really rude. And I'm not sure why they thought that being rude and yelling at the staff was going to get them to open the doors back up and put them on a plane that was already leaving. But that's okay. Buster, shh. So I talked very nicely to the lady at the... I apologize. I don't know why he is whining, except for the fact that I'm not giving him my full attention. So I talked very nicely with her and said, can you get us, as long as you can get us on the same plane, because I didn't want my daughter and I to be separated. She's only 17. She's flown several, and I know there are 17-year-olds, there are even younger kids who fly all the time by themselves. That's great. She's flown with me. She did not want to be separated from me because there was a lot of stress and anxiety for the race already. I didn't want to put having to be on a plane by herself also on her. So I was like, just if you can get us on the same plane. She looked for flights to Phoenix to Eugene, because that's apparently the only way to get to Eugene. From Charlotte is to Phoenix and then Eugene. And I told her, I said, if you cannot get us on a flight straight into Eugene, that's fine. If you can get us on a flight to Portland, I'll get an Uber and drive. We can go from Portland to Eugene. So that's what she did. We landed at 10 something in Portland, got an Uber. A 2-hour Uber drive is not cheap. And I felt really bad because that meant the guy then had to drive back from Eugene to Portland after 2 more hours. But if I don't know how much percentage the Uber driver actually gets of the fees that we pay, but if he gets a decent percentage, he made a good amount for driving us from Portland to Eugene. So we finally got to our hotel a little after midnight. Now remember, we're from South Carolina, so there's a 3-hour time difference. So for us, it felt like it was about 3:15. But it was a little after midnight there. And went to bed. My daughter did not... She slept some on the plane. She slept in the Uber. That was the nice thing about me not having to rent a car. First of all, you can't find rental cars anywhere. So even though it was going to cost us a pretty penny to Uber, that was doable. Renting a car wasn't doable. And she and I could kind of doze in the car on that 2-hour drive. So that was nice. I'm trying to find positives in all of that day. That day was crazy. I did not end up stitching it all that day in the airport just because it was so much stress. And we ended up, once they booked us, we had another 3 hours to wait for our flight to Portland. So we just kind of, we ate because we had missed a couple of meals because of the delays and stuff. So we sat down, we ate, we relaxed. But I did get to stitch on the way back because I booked much better on the way back. I had 3-hour layovers at the airports. So missing a connection wasn't really a worry on the way back. Next time I know to book longer layovers going out. Because coming home, it's not a big deal. If we miss a flight, we miss a flight. We'll get home when we get home. There was nothing pressing, but going out there, the race was a pressing thing. We had to get there for that. So long story short, we got there. That was on Tuesday, got there early Wednesday. Wednesday morning, we got up. She got up really early because her body was still on South Carolina time and went down. We stayed at a hotel. If you've never stayed at an Even hotel, I've never heard of it, but it's part of the IHG Holiday Inn brand. They are some of the nicest hotels. The Even hotel we stayed at in Eugene had exercise equipment in the rooms, rollers for athletes to roll their muscles, and yoga balls, and they had a really nice exercise room. So she went downstairs at 3:30 in the morning because it felt like 6:30 to her, and ran on the treadmill. I was sleeping. I didn't even know she had gone till she came back. She got a little workout to kind of get her legs moving after having been in the airports the day before. Then we went and we kind of walked around the University of Oregon campus, explored a little bit. It's beautiful. Oh my gracious. The weather was so much nicer than here. We managed to get there during a very not rainy time. Say hello, Buster. And so, yes, hello, darling. And so we did a lot of walking, did some exploring. Buster, I'm trying to talk. Thank you. Yes, I love you too. Thank you. Sit down. So, and then we picked up her meat packet. So on Thursday, we just hung out in the hotel that morning so that she didn't, do too much before her race. Went over for her race, and she did really well. She came in first in her heat. She ran the 5,000 meters, which is 12 and a half laps around the track. She said it went by quickly. It was her first time running a 5,000 on a track. She's run 5Ks for cross country, but that was her first time running on a track, and she got a really nice time. She came in 7th overall. There were 2 heats. She came in first in her heat, and then there are 6 people in the other heat that were faster than her. So she came in 7th overall, which I was very, very happy for her, because last year, if you've been with us for a while, last year she was supposed to have gone out and raced, and about 2 weeks before we were supposed to leave, she got put in a boot because she had a stress reaction in her foot. And so she was in the boot from June until September. So she's made a really big comeback since then, and I'm really proud of her. So we got back, raced on Thursday, left on Friday morning to come back home. Got home, spent, Father's Day with my husband and the rest of the kids. And then, had a few days, started my new job on Tuesday, did orientation on Tuesday, and started at my job on Wednesday. Been training Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Today is Sunday, so not yesterday, Friday. And tomorrow I go back to my new job. I really enjoy it. I've enjoyed meeting all the people that I'm working with. They're great. For right now, I'm also still doing the administrator job for the soccer club that I've been working for. So I'm kind of working 2 part-time jobs, which is why I haven't had much stitching time. So when I'm not at my new job, I'm home working on soccer stuff. They just hired a new person, so I'll be helping train her to transition. So hopefully my stitching time will increase as my responsibilities for soccer decrease. And my last day there is July 15th. So only a couple more weeks, and then I'll just have one job again, which will be nice. The youngest and my husband left on Thursday to go to Tennessee because she was invited to play with another soccer team from our state at the Southeast Regional Soccer Tournament. So they had a game Friday night. So they left Thursday. They had a game Friday night and last night, and have another game tonight. I don't think they're moving on to the knockout round, which would start tomorrow morning. So instead, they'll be leaving Tennessee and driving to Greenville because she is signed up for a soccer camp from Monday through Thursday this week. So they'll go straight from Tennessee to Greenville, drop her off. And then he'll come back home after he's dropped her off. And then Wednesday and Thursday, he and my second youngest daughter, who runs, are going to a couple of colleges. One of them is the college where my daughter is going to soccer camp. And then another one about maybe an hour away from there. And do 2 college visits with college coaches, because she's had several college coaches reach out to her, especially since her race in Oregon, and invite her to come check them out, come talk to them, offer her, see what they can offer her financially for athletics and academics. So it's a very exciting time right now. And in the midst of all of that, my oldest, who has been living at home because trying to find an apartment here in town, there's been, when he graduated from college and got his job, there's been a 6 to 8 month waiting list for all of the apartments. So he's been living here, and an apartment just opened up. So he went and paid his security deposit this past week, and he will be moving in at the beginning of August into his own place. I'm very excited for him. I'm very sad. I don't know why I'm so sad. It's 2 minutes down the road. It's not like he's moving across the country, but I'm still a little sad because that's my child. And he's not a child anymore. He's an adult with a job, and he's ready to move out. I'm just not sure I'm ready for that. There's a lot of changes going on. But it's been very exciting, very fun. Not a lot of stitching going on, but that's okay. So now let's wrap up with this week's quote. And it's from Marianne Cantwell. Weaknesses are just strengths in the wrong environment. I like that. I'm going to try and start thinking of my weaknesses not as weaknesses, but as strengths, and it's just not the right place for that strength at that moment. So, y'all, I hope you have a great stitchy week. Stay happy, stay healthy, keep stitching. Bye.